right, so 14 months ago, I went to Uganda for 14 days. And the first 7 days were doing work and stuff, and the second week we went to like the equator, went to like the Nile and Lake Victoria. So I'm part of the Ugandan Water Project, and the main goal is to get clean water to the people of Uganda. There are 3 ways to get clean water, and one is a borehole, which is right here. It's a well. I don't know why they call it a borehole, but there's hundreds of broken down boreholes around, and we go and repair them and make it so people can use them. And the Uganda Water Project is a Christian organization. So we go to churches and schools and sometimes public spaces. Like this is a public space right here. There's like stores around here. So we do that, and then there's rainwater collection systems, which would be getting the gutters, and then there'd be a huge bucket, like really big. And that's probably the most expensive one. And then the cheapest kind is there's little filters that we give out to people. And we usually do that, put them with the jerry cans, and it takes a long time to drip out of the filter, but it's the cleanest water that you can have. Like, so James Harrington is the leader of the Ugandan Water Project, and when he would present to churches and schools, he would get a jerry can, and he'd put dirt, chicken poop, he'd stir it all up, he'd drip it down into a cup, and he'd drink right from it right there, just to show how clean the water is. Because the water that they're getting from the mud is just not, you wouldn't even let your dog drink it. Next one. Can you go back one?
I missed one?
Yeah. So not only would we go just for the water, like, because we would work for like 8 hours at a time, whether it be putting piping in, installing the gutters, but we would also go interact with the kids, which was probably one of my most favorite parts. I would bring 2 soccer balls, they call it football, to each school or church that we went to. And these kids, probably my biggest takeaway from going on this trip, you will never see anyone more excited about getting a soccer ball. Like, they would go crazy. They'd start jumping on top of me, and nowadays if someone in my school were to get a soccer ball, they'd be like, oh, I already have a couple of these. But no, they'd go crazy over this. And I would play with them, and they're very good at it because they've been playing since they were little. So that was fun to play. Next one. This girl right here, she was very shy. Most of them were shy. And a lot of the little kids don't know any English. They learn English from a young age, so like teens would know a little bit of English, and then adults would know English pretty good. But people like this, you would have to like communicate with hand gestures. But this girl was very shy, so I would have to go and talk to her myself. And so boys normally play football, soccer, and then girls would play netball, which is basically basketball without dribbling, which I didn't know what that was until I went on this. Next one.
Multitasking.
All right, these are all the kids. This was right before this. We had the big presentation because we would present at every church and school what we were doing. So a lot of these kids I got to play football with, and netball. And so this is probably one of my most favorite days we had, 'cause just interacting with the kids. This kid right here, because we would only spend one day at a time at each church and school, because the next day we'd have to go somewhere else. But he came up to me at the end and he said, and there you go, Josh, hey Josh, will you come play football with me tomorrow? And I said, I don't know, I can't, but maybe I'll come back someday. And it was really hard to leave him, and because just a couple hours with them, you really build a good relationship with these kids. But they are so excited. A lot of them have never seen a white person before, so they would, right when we get out of the van, they call them Mazungus. So they start running up to you, Mazungu, Mazungu. They get so excited. This is when I went on safari. This was one of the non-working days, and I got pretty close to a rhino. That was fun, but so lots of dancing, lots of singing. They would get so excited. Drumming is a big thing there, and I'm a percussionist, so I would do a lot of drumming with them. But I'm not a very good dancer, but just anything I would do, they would go crazy. So that's me trying to dance, but but yeah, they were getting all excited and singing, and so you can kind of see it, but that's the water that they drink out of. It's very muddy, and they lay out the tree branches to lean over and get it. And this was about, I'd say, a mile away from the school. So these kids are skipping school to go get water, and they have to do it twice a day. So they're missing out on like half of the time that they should be at school. And I decided to go on the journey with them, and it was downhill. So when they get the water, they have to go uphill and then another half a mile after that. So, and jerry cans, they're probably about 5 pounds. So for kids like this, that's a lot of weight to carry. But yeah. So this right here, we were building one of the rainwater collection systems. How we do that is we dig a hole, and then we get a bunch of bricks, and we just stack them around up about this tall. And then we put the big, I don't know how to explain how big it is, but it's a huge collection tank. And the gutter will, the rain just goes inside it. So it takes a long time to make. This was probably like a 8 to 10 hour day. And just me interacting with the kids, they would actually help carry the bricks. I remember one school we were at, I'm pretty sure it was this one, there were lines of 100 kids, each carrying a brick, walking it down over and setting it in a pile. So they would all like help with it, which was pretty exciting. Like they were helping get clean water for themselves. All right, I think that's yeah. The next one now. We're done with these ones.
On the next one?
Yeah.
All right, wait a minute now.
Yeah, this is me walking down. Oh, there we go. So these are the kids interacting. So most of them, all of them, don't have hair at all, because lice is a big problem over there. So that even females, like, they'll just shave the head. So someone with curly hair like me, they really like to play with. They don't really get to play with hair that often. So they're just like, and they would all touch my skin, because they would wonder if it would feel different, because it looks different than theirs. So these cups right here, the food that they have over there, it's poshu, and it looks like Elmer's glue, and they have like 1 cup a day for lunch, and that's it. So yeah, it doesn't look very good. I would not eat it. But yeah, so I'm at school, and you hear on the announcements, today we have pizza and hot dogs, and everyone goes, "Ah!" And this is me after coming home from this trip. I'm like, well, we have it way better than these people. Pizza and hot dogs sounds great. But, and then one time there was a kid, and they used leaves as spoons too. So there was a kid, and everyone was eating, and he wasn't eating. And this one guy says, "Hey, why aren't you eating?" And he says, "I left my cup at home." So he didn't have anything to eat that day. This is me pumping a well. We just made it. And then we always make it red afterwards. So pumping it takes about 60 pumps to fill up a jerry can. And after 60 pumps, your arms are sore. So a lot of the times they would ask me personally, "Can you fill my jerry can?" Because I wouldn't mind doing it. But my arms were tired after that day. So this is us fixing a borehole. This was the very first day. So as I said, there are hundreds of broken down boreholes around Uganda. And it costs about $2,000 to build or to like restore a new one. Sometimes cheaper than that, because sometimes there's just like a pin that's not working. But so for this we had to take out the piping, and then we had to get a big machine in, and since there was rust in it because of the old piping, we had to blow the water out, so it would all blow out, and the kids would go crazy, and they were all excited to see the water blow up in the air. But then we'd get new piping in, put the head on, and then they'd be able to pump the water, and they go crazy when that clean water comes out, because they don't have to skip school to walk a mile anymore. It's right in front of them. So getting this clean water to them helps their education too, because they have more time at school instead of having to skip hours at a time. This is me putting the piping in, and there would be locals coming to help too. We got all our hands up, and we're just dropping it in. I like this picture because it shows us all working together. And there were lots of workers there from Uganda that are part of the Ugandan Water Project. So the base we would stay at, there's the Uganda Water Project workers, and then there's also a base here in America that people work from, and they take care of like the money and stuff, and funding for the projects like this. This is where they get water. A little mud puddle looks like. But this is about probably half a mile away from the school. This is one of the teachers, and pretty sure that's the principal over there. And it took a long time to get here, and I wouldn't drink out of that. All right, here's me. This is James Harrington. He's the leader, and we're just helping the kids bring jerry cans back. One of these girls actually asked me to carry hers because she has to carry it every day, and there was one point where I was carrying 2 at a time because someone saw that I was helping someone else. So like, "Can you carry mine too?" And they're all running up. "Can you carry mine? I can only carry 2. I look pretty jacked in that. But that's me. I would try to put it up on my head, and I carried it on my head for like a minute, and then it would hurt my head, so I had to carry it on my side. But I don't know how they carry it on their head and can balance it. Like, they're really talented to do that. But it's a lot of work. It's 5 pounds, so this helps explain the bricks I was trying to talk about. Putting the bricks around, and then the gallon, or not the gallon, the water tank system goes right here. Gutters go down and goes right into that. And these are locals. These are not part of the Ugandan water project. They just wanted to help out. They saw my different colors, so they were very curious. But they would all, Josh, show me your hands. They want to touch it. And back here. So yeah, my biggest takeaway of this is we have it so well over here in America, and a lot of people don't realize that. And I try to explain this to my friends at school, and they just, like, we have it. We have clean water, we have electricity. Like, the schools they go to, they don't even have desks. Like, they use like not even tables. They have to sit on the floor most of the time. And so what we do is we have an opportunity fund. So every trip, I'm pretty sure mine was the 14th trip that the Ugandan Water Project went on, but we put all the money into projects, and then at the end of the trip, we say, what's something that's not water related that we can help with? So I remember, so there's one trip where there was a school that had no food, and like they looked like people from the Holocaust, where they were so skinny. So they got like hundreds of pounds of poshu just to help them out there. For my trip, there was a school where the girls play netball. They had no hoops, so we just got 2 hoops for them, and then we also got food for another school, because food is really hard to come by over in Uganda. But James Harrington, when he gives this presentation, he says, what's the best way to show love? Water. Clean water is the best way to show love. So this, the Uganda Water Project means a lot to me, like, especially after going to see it, because I've always been part of, like, I would go to the 5Ks and stuff, but after seeing it in person, how these people live, how they get water, it means a lot more to me after seeing it with my own eyes. So what I'm doing is I'm running a 5K, and I put a weight vest on, enough for the jerry can, and I'm just trying to raise money to get more projects funded, to get clean water to these people, because these kids should be in school. They should be going to their church. They should not have to fetch water miles away. So don't feel like you guys have to give, but if you do, just put your name on an envelope, please, so I know who to thank. But it would just mean a lot if you guys help me out, because these kids should not be walking that far for dirty water. But